In this video, I want to share with you my personal journey of writing my first book. And one of the reasons I love sharing tips about writing and mentoring writers in my book incubator program is that it took me 99 years to write my first book. Well, it took me 6, but it felt like 99. And I don't want that for you. So I'm going to walk you through the mistakes that I made before writing and publishing my 3 novels so that hopefully you don't make the same ones. Okay, so here are my mistakes and what finally happened when I stopped making them. The first mistake that I made is that I created a life in which I had no time to write. And I really mean no time to write. I was a lawyer. I'd gone to law school because I was interested in the law and I thought being a lawyer would be fun. And I thought that I would write on the side. Well, that didn't happen. I found myself in a job where I barely had time to even do my job, much less write. And so shortly after becoming a lawyer, I was a lawyer for less than a year. I quit. I left my job because I didn't have time to write. And that's what I wanted to be doing. It really was kind of my life's calling and what I felt like I was here to do. So listen, you don't have to quit your job, okay? But how can you carve out time? And if writing matters to you, that's going to be important. It's not going to stop mattering to you. In my experience, it's not something that goes away. So how can you carve out time to find a way to do it, whether that's in the morning before work or during your lunches or in the evenings? Like, they don't have to be big chunks of time. They can be small pockets. All right, so my second mistake. So I leave law and I decide I'm going to launch this writing career. And I sign up for writing classes because I didn't know how to write a book. I didn't know how to write a novel. So I started this novel draft in this writing class. And the way this class was set up, and the way that I learned writing classes are often set up after this, is that you submit some pages of your draft and your peers give you feedback. So I submitted, I don't remember what it was, 10 or 15 pages of this novel opening that was really just a new idea. I didn't really have much more than those pages yet, right? It was like just something I was experimenting with. And what I got back were tons of comments from maybe 13 or 14 classmates about everything I needed to fix in these pages. I would remember sitting there and like reading comments like, where's the inciting incident? And this scene feels like it goes on a little long. I don't know if we need this much description. What is this character's motivation here? And thinking like, is this how writing works? I don't even know what this story is yet. Am I supposed to just now stop and incorporate, what Ralph and Sarah from my writing class told me they liked or didn't like, when they also haven't published a book and I don't know if I should listen to them? Like, it was all very confusing and I didn't know what to do. So I just took everyone's feedback and just mushed it into my draft. And I did this for years. For years, I took writing classes and just kept writing to try to please all of the people who were in my writing classes. The time I finally stopped doing this, I remember it very vividly. I was sitting in one of these writing classes, and in this moment, it was the instructor, actually. It wasn't a peer in my class, was giving me this full rundown of exactly what she thought should come next in my novel. And then this character should do this, and then this character should do this, and then this character should do this. And I sat there thinking, but that's not the book that I'm writing. Like, you're writing a different book than the one that I was writing. And suddenly it occurred to me that what I had been doing was trying to write a book based on everyone else's vision. And I was the only one who had the vision. This book had to come from me. I was the only one who had the vision. So I dropped out of that writing class. I went off on a writing retreat by myself, rewrote the draft completely in about a week. It wasn't very long at all. I rewrote it very quickly and got an agent at that point within about 6 weeks of when I finished that draft. And that was the version of my book that sold at auction in the United States, meaning multiple publishers bid on it and sold in a bunch of countries around the world. So what's the takeaway here? Don't try to write your book to please others. You have to remember that you are the only one with the vision. Is there a time and place for feedback? Yes, but Typically, it's after you've finished a draft of your book, especially when it comes to your peers. You may want to get feedback from another expert, an editor, or a writing instructor or mentor earlier in the process. Like that can certainly be helpful, but those are people who give writing advice for a living, and we know how to do it. We've been trained to do it. Anyone else, Larry, Joe, and Harry, or your sister, or your brother-in-law, or your ex-boyfriend, you don't want to give your draft until at least after you finished like a full draft of your manuscript. My last mistake is a business mistake, but before I share that one with you, I just want to thank you for watching and let you know that on this channel, you're going to learn how to actually get your book written, how to cross the finish line to becoming a professional writer, and how to do it joyfully, because writing doesn't have to be scary and painful. In fact, it should be fun most of the time. So I'm going to help you make writing fun again and get your best book done. So please like this video and subscribe to this channel because I have plenty more tips and tricks that I'm so excited to share with you. Okay, my last mistake. My last mistake was not viewing literary agents as people. So as I was writing and rewriting my book based on this feedback I was getting in writing classes, I was also pitching my book to literary agents. Now, in the publishing world, you're going to need a literary agent to get your book published. Almost everyone does. There are a couple of exceptions if you maybe go to a small publisher or if you choose to self-publish. But if you want a publisher to buy your book from you and publish it for you, 99% of the time, you need a literary agent, which is the person who is going to pitch your book to them. I knew that much. I knew I needed a literary agent, but I'm embarrassed to admit that I thought the way I got a literary agent was basically by being a spammer. I thought I could just write a template email and send the same one out, the same mass email out to just all the literary agents I found in a database. It was terrible. It was not treating them like human beings. And of course, it didn't work. The right way to do it is to do your research, to find who are the right people in this field for you and your book. What literary agents represent books like the one that you wrote or are writing? Where are they? What do they want from you? They put this information on their website. It's not even hard to find, but you need to do the work to find them. Yeah, it takes longer than sending out a template mass email to a bunch of people who you haven't even bothered reading about, but it's also the only way that actually works, that actually is successful, because it's the only way that's treating them like the people that they are on the receiving end. My literary agent and I, by the way, had a pretty long back and forth before she ever signed me. She wanted to see me make some revisions on my book before she was comfortable representing me. And she actually turned me down, I think 3 times. It was a little bit like a parable. She turned me down 3 times, but every time gave me thoughts on how I could improve the manuscript. And by the 3rd time, she read it and said, "This is it. You've nailed it. It's awesome. I'm excited. Let's do this." So once you find the right person, it can be a really helpful, long-lasting relationship. And my relationship with my agent has been. So those were my struggles. What are you struggling with? Maybe you'd love to finally write your book, but you don't know how to find the time, or you haven't written a creative word in years and don't know where to start, or the opposite. Maybe you have an MFA in creative writing, but it sucked all the fun out of it for you and now you feel paralyzed. Okay, as a published novelist myself and a writing coach, I've put together a free training for you on how to write your dream book while holding out a full-time job and not upending your life, whatever that is. And in it, I teach you the exact process I use to write my books. All you have to do to get this free training is apply to my program, the Book Incubator. This application is only 2 questions. You can do it in under 5 minutes. There's no obligation to join the program, but if you are admitted, I'll send you that free training right away. So you've got nothing to lose, except years of your life dreaming about writing this book that's burning inside you without writing it. So click below to apply and get my free training on my exact process to watch right away. It'll be worth your time, I promise. Yeah.